I realized that so many people, hey Mario, wouldn't join the workshop, but I also want my side routine. Guys, most of you have a lot of exercises and you have enough material to create your own routine. What happened? It doesn't matter if you are a student of myself or not. In general, if you practice guitar for 1 year at least, you have a lot of exercises ready to organize and create your own style routine. What's the problem that happened for most of you is that sometimes we have to practice so many things. And what happened? If I only have 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day maximum, and I want to practice techniques, falsetta, solo piece, accompany, chords, improvising, it's impossible. So what happened? It's going to take you so long and so much time to get your goals because you have 20 different goals. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. So what happened? We have to focus on what we want to be doing in 6 months. That's the
Mm.
thing. 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, but 2 years is so much. 1 year is also so much. 6 months for me work. Okay. Um, why? Because it's going to determine what you are going to be doing on the next weeks, the next months, to really get the goal that you have in your mind. You know.
Mm.
So I write down this thing here. I don't want to forget anything. Yeah. I want yourself, guys, to, if you can, to take two different papers and a pen or a pencil, two different papers, okay? And let's see if at the end of the meeting today makes sense what we're going to be doing. So in one of the paper, Carlos, whenever you are, Carlos, let me know because there is one person here who called Carlos, but I don't know who is him. So just let me know, Carlos, if you listen ourselves whenever you listen myself, just to know if you are there or not. So in one of the paper, write on the top homeworks, and in the other paper, write on the top study routine.
Study.
Okay. And let me go, guys, to look for my iPad. 1 second.
Uh,
There we go. So we already talked about that, John and Johnny, last week on our academy lesson, but it's going to be a meeting that I will be uploading to social media for any person. So let's work on that. What is here? So now that we have two papers, leave them white, okay, because we will be. There we go. Let me share with you the screen, okay? Now, if you want, you can take another paper in which you write down whatever, okay? I want you only to have those two papers white and ready for when I tell you something, okay? So, how I divide my study routine, okay? I divide that in three different parts. I divide that on the first part, which is
Homework.
warming up, okay? So use whatever paper you want, but I want the homework and the study routine white, okay? You can use another paper to write down whatever you want. So on our routine, we will have three different parts. The first one, it's warming up, okay? The second one would be work on techniques. And the third one could be your own stuff. What does it mean? For example, right now we have John and Johnny. John Hanrock, I know that he's also in another program learning how to play bulerías por arriba. So your own stuff could be bulerías. For Johnny B, I know that we're working on our Solea beginners. So your own stuff will be Solea beginners. Okay. Also, for example, imagine that you want to compose. Okay, so your own stuff will be compose. Okay. That's how I divide my style routine, 100%. Okay. So what we are going to be doing on each step. So here on the warming up, we need like an exercise, something really easy. And when I say easy, it has to be so easy. For example, imagine that you can play that and practice while you watch TV. Remember that. Okay? Something that you don't have to focus on that. It's just something that help yourself to start moving your hands. Imagine that it's 6 a.m. in the morning and you have a get up 5 minutes ago. Something really easy. Just to get your blood around your hands. Something really easy. It's not technique. It's not with the metronome. It's not something strong and difficult for you. Something maybe at the beginning, if you want to learn, if you have to learn something new and you don't have any warming up exercise, it's going to be difficult because you have to learn. But once that you learn, it has to be something really easy. For example, for me, okay, in red, I'm going to be writing my own. I have I have like double arpeggio. Double arpeggio with no left hand. Wait. Okay, that's the one that they have. That's a warming up. So now, first question for each of you. You don't have to answer, okay? So if you think, if I ask you a question, do you have a warming exercise? Do you have an exercise that you don't have to think about it to play? You can play that while you touch your dog with your left hand, while you watch TV, while you talk on the phone. Do you have this type of exercise or not? If you have it, go to your um, go to your routine sheet, okay, and in warming up, write down the name of the exercise. You can give a name. Maybe you can create a name right now, okay? If you have the exercise, if you already have an exercise that you can play so easy and you can play while you play TV as a warming up exercise, go to your style routine paper and write it down. If you don't have it, go to your homework paper, and that's the first task that you have. Look for a warming up exercise. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the warming up, write here the name of the exercise. Okay. Something really easy, guys. Okay. In my advice, if it's an arpeggio exercise, that's great because every movement that you do on a circle movement, it's going to help your blood pass by your hands. Okay. That's the first step. It's really easy. Okay. So as I told you, if you already have one exercise, write it down on your paper. I know that you are doing, but if you are watching the recording, guys, if you don't have the paper, please take the paper because you will see this paper whenever you sit down to study. Okay? And if you don't have an exercise, write on your homework paper, I have to look for a warming up exercise. If it's an arpeggio, at that rate. If you are maybe more an advanced player, you can look for a tremolo one. For me, I prefer to start only with the right hand, something that you play only with your right. Okay, that's it. First step, already done. Okay, so now we go to the second step of the style routine, which is going to be techniques. And here I have like a really famous sentence. You learn how to play flamenco guitar by playing flamenco guitar. Okay?
Mm.
What does it mean? If we go to another page and we are going to talk about techniques, okay? That's something that all of you, both of you know, guys, but let's work on that for the recording for every other person. If we could talk about techniques, okay, most of the people think, okay, most usual techniques arpeggio, picado, thumb, and raseo. That's the most usual or also basic, okay? If you are more or less an advanced, intermediate and advanced, you can add also tremolo and alzapua. What's going to happen here? Most of the people, when they work on techniques, they look for an exercise, not a flamenco exercise. It's an exercise, like typical exercises, crazy exercises, so ugly exercises, like awful exercises, like okay, they are nice. It's going to for sure. It's going to help your techniques always. Okay, but as I told you, you learn to play flamenco by playing flamenco. So what my suggestion and what that's what I've never listened outside and that's what I've never learned from a teacher from 15 years at the conservatory. Okay, we are talking that not just you guys in general, like 95 of my students are not professionals. Okay, are people that want to play guitar at home to have fun and to play with friends and to not as a gig, not as a job. Okay, but also I do for myself. Most of the people will be looking for a arpeggio exercise, a picado exercise, a thumb exercise, a rasgueo exercise, and a tremolo and a alzapua exercise. Not a flamenco exercise, a technique exercise. Only focus on working on technique. But guys, why? What happened if instead of just think on technique, if we want to improve, for example, arpeggio, why instead of just look for an arpeggio exercise, we look for an arpeggio falseta? That's what's going to happen. You're going to be working the technique and also the repertoire at the same time. For me, it's something that first of all I use for myself before I use that for my students. That's what makes the difference. Because instead of spending, imagine that if I study 4 hours a day, instead of study 1 hour technique and 3 hour repertoire and 2 hours technique and 2 hour repertoire, after that I spend the 4 hours studying repertoire and the 4 hours playing flamenco. And for me, maybe doesn't make much sense, but for people who only have 1 hour a day, make much sense. Because if you spend 1 hour a day practicing and you only study technique half an hour and flamenco half an hour, at the end of the day you only spend 30 minutes playing solea or playing bulería or playing fandango because you spend the other 30 minutes playing freaking exercises that get you crazy. That for sure they help yourself for sure, but it's not improving your flamenco skills as much as you can improve them. Okay, so what's going to happen here? Okay, with the time you have to select and look for an arpeggio falseta. You have to look for a picado falseta. You have to look for a thumb falseta. If you don't know what a falseta is, a falseta it's like a small melody section that take more or less 30 or 40 seconds long maximum that we use as a guitarist when we accompany singers and dancers to give them like a break. It's like they sing a letra or they dance a letra and then we play a falseta and it's the time they have to rest, okay, to breathe and to get relaxed again and to restart dancing, no? So we need at least, as a guitarist, we need at least to know two or three falsetas of each flamenco style with the time, okay? So why, if we start to work on dancings now, and we use them for both things, for work on repertoire and to work on techniques. So that, for example, what I'm doing with Johnny B. Johnny B is studying his Soleá beginners solo piece, and if you see John, each falseta is working on a different technique. Some of them only on the thumb. Some of them, after you learn how to play the thumb, we are adding the arpeggio. There is another one who uses the picado. We are going to start now by using the rasgueo.
Right.
What are we doing? I'm giving you a solo piece. Yes, because of we choose the same style for all exercises. But what I'm giving to you, it's this with the time. I'm giving you like your technique exercises, which are at the same time your solo piece. Okay, because you've been practicing for the last playing guitar for the last 3, 4 months, 6 months. Okay, but what I'm doing with you, I'm giving you your style routine with the time, and we are learning our style routine. Okay, so my advice also, if you want guys to choose to look for different falsetas using different techniques, but on the same style. What's going to happen? If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 falsetas of the same style, what you are getting is a solo piece of the style by using different techniques. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now we return to our two papers. Okay, let me here. Right now I'm going to be talking, first of all, to the people who already have, okay, those exercises. For example, I'm talking here about techniques, okay, the second step, plus repertoire. So after you write down, if you already have, okay, first of all, arpeggio, picado, thumb, and rasgueo. You can write down into your routine paper, not the homework, the routine. You can write down the second step, which is techniques plus repertoire, below the warming up. Okay, and into the techniques and repertoire section, you can write down also 4 different lines: arpeggio, picado, thumb, and rasgueo. Okay, so now another question for each of you and for all of you who are watching the recording. If you already have an arpeggio falseta of any style, okay, write down the name of the falseta. Give a name, okay? Create a name right now, by the way. So into your routine paper, if you already have an arpeggio falseta of any palo, write down the name. For example, arpeggio. Imagine y flamenco arpeggio on solea. Whatever. Create a name by yourself, okay? Give a name to the exercise by yourself. If you don't have an arpeggio falseta of any style, write down on your homeworks, I have to look for an arpeggio falsetta of the paddle that I most like. For example, Johnny be here, you can use on your routing paper, you can write down on arpeggio the solea introduction by using the arpeggio.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
And for example, for John Hanrock, who was also on the Fandangos bootcamp, for example, you can use the Fandangos falsetta, the arpeggio Fandangos falsetta that we worked on that we learned on the Fandangos bootcamp. Okay? Or any other one that you have. Just giving you an example. Okay?
Yeah. Solea, I think, probably is better.
Also, Solea, there is so many, like, any escobilla thing, but using only arpeggio. I don't want, for example, I don't want this because it's just, there is just four arpeggio in all the loop. I want, for example, I like this, or flamenco. That's an arpeggio. Okay? I want you to repeat the technique. So choose a falsetto that really do this technique all the time. As I told you, if you already have one falsetto that use the arpeggio, write it down on your repertoire, sorry, on your side routine paper. If you don't have an arpeggio falsetto, write it down on your homework paper. I have to look for arpeggio falsetto. And you can get into YouTube and you can tap on YouTube arpeggio falsetta beginners solea, arpeggio beginners falsetta fandango, arpeggio beginners falsetta alegrías, and you are going to find thousands of them. Or you can tap Mario Moraga flamenco and ask myself. Okay. Whatever. So the same thing that we made, okay, the same thing that we made with arpeggio, you have to do with the picado, thumb, and rasgueo. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes and think about if you already have a picado, thumb, and rasgueo exercise, write the name of each of them down on your side routine paper, or if you don't have any of those exercises, write it down on your homeworks paper, okay? And give you a couple of minutes, okay? Everything clear, right, guys? More or less, makes sense?
Yes.
So the goal is to, sometimes I know that instead of playing, I talk a lot. But, after I gave my first online lesson in 2012. And it's like with the time I realized that the most important thing and the most biggest problem is that we have no time. We never have time on the day. We have kids, we have family, we have dog, we have a job, we have so many things to do, and I only want you to get a 1 hour quality, a uh, 1 hour of time studying a day, but on a quality way, not just spend playing 1 hour a day, because it's different to play 1 hour than to practice 1 hour. Okay. So I'm going to look for a glass of water and I'll give you 2 minutes. Write down, if you already have, the name of a picado exercise, a thumb exercise, and a ratio exercise. If you don't have any of them, write it down on your homeworks paper to look for any of them. And at the end, we will read both of your papers, okay? So let's see what we have to do and to see what we already have, okay? 1 minute, I'm going to look for some water. How is it going, guys? Finish? So I think that, for example, for John Hanbrook, I think that you have all of them.
Yeah, I think from our last call, Mario, the one you just said to hold up practicing is the tremolo. I think
Okay.
work on the other stuff, whether it's rasgueos or arpeggios or just different combination, like that's it's a Bolivius falsetto. It's what I learned from Jose Ignacio. So
This one is nice, but if you see, you are combining, at this case, rasgueo and
yeah,
thumb. And thumb. I
yeah,
prefer something, as an example, because it's what helped me. I prefer something that, as I told about the arpeggio, something that arpeggio. At this case, you are doing. I don't know what you play, no, but more or less. That's not 100% what I'm looking for.
okay.
I need to have something that can be played as a loop. For example, I'm going to give you an example of sabicas. Solea, this one. Ah, if you see, I want something that really, you will have time on your own staff to work on repertoire 100%.
Yeah,
Here, our focus is techniques, but by using flamenco music.
yeah, and I do have sabicas on my list. So
That's great. So I'm not saying that you have to use sabicas. It's great to use sabicas always because it's nice, no? But you can, also solía on a maybe for Johnny B, no? With the thumb, like a really old school falseta. I'm using most of the time the thumb technique. Okay.
which one what do you call that one, Mario? I have that one also.
This one is I call the F, traditional F, solea falseta or thumb falseta or pulgar, solea falseta tradicional en fa. Traditional F falseta of solea.
Okay, nice.
And this one is nice.
I
Also,
love it.
for you, young hand rock, any of sabicas, if you already have them, it's nice. This section is, I use that for myself to practice on when I want to improve my thumb. And also at the same time, you are working on so many ligados movement on the left arm. Okay.
On that one, I do use it, but I don't think I'm improving too much on my time. So I guess should I try using a metronomo to kind of accelerate the
The
beat?
next point that we're going to talk about is that on this techniques plus repertoire section, we're going to use a metronome.
Okay.
Only once that we have the fingering clear. So don't use never the metronome if you still have mistakes. Okay? So if you have mistakes, it means that you are still not, you don't have clear the movements, you have not cleared the fingerings, the ligados. Don't use the metronome on this moment. Okay? Only use the metronome when you know how to play this section. Okay? And wherever you are, because I started with the metronome sometimes on 55, which is so slowly, but that's because of I use a metronome to really start so slowly and be sure that I really know how to play it slowly. Because you can play everything quickly. The difficult thing is to play it slowly. And if we want to increase techniques, we have to We say coger el toro por los cuernos. How we can translate that?
Grab the bull horns.
That's it. Okay, because okay, maybe when you work on your own stuff, you decide. But at this point, we are on the second step of the routine. We are going to focus on techniques, and I don't want to play. It's not clear. It works for a show, maybe. But right now, I don't want you to work for a show. At this moment of the side routine, I want to be a hammer. Clean, strength, fingering clear, easy transitions. That's it. Why? And if you take care about all those things, once that you study repertoire and your own stuff, you will be using this way of working. Okay. Make sense, guys? So as I told you, if you already have one falsetta, and for example, the sample that you gave, John Hanrock, choose a falsetta that really use a technique, like 85% of the time, and something that you can use as a loop. It has to be something short, because if you play like a 1 minute falsetta, it's going to be difficult to get the swing of the technique. Okay. Um, for example, there is a picado falsetta by Paco de Lucía on Fandango. I don't like this one for practice picado. It has so many picados, yes, but it has different timing, different variations, different. It's difficult to make a loop of that instead of maybe. Boom. For example, that's an alegría picado. 7, 8, 9, 10, 1. I don't remember when is the time. Let me see. 1 second. Something that you can make a loop, okay? Or maybe another one that you have. There is so many ones. Or maybe you can use a scale, but I prefer something that it's into a style to work at the same time on your repertoire. Mario, another question that most of you sometimes make. Mario, but I have a lot of exercise of techniques. That's great. So when we are going to be using those crazy exercises like because I use them, but I use them when I want to really focus on one technique more time. Okay, imagine that I feel that, hey Mario, you lately you are doing so many mistakes on your pickup, or lately you are not having nice arpeggio, or you have to improve your artapua, because I feel on last day on a show that I'm not playing that correctly. Okay, at this moment, if I want to improve something special, I will look for 2 or 3 different exercises of each of the technique that I want to improve, and I will spend 3 days working on my artapua, and I will have the falsetta that I have at the beginning, but also maybe 2 or 3 different exercises of alpha pua that makes my alpha pua improve. If I feel that I improve, if I have to improve this technique, but when I just want to work on my techniques on a general way, to have one falsetta per each technique, it's enough. Okay. Makes sense? If you, as I told you, if you are, for example, for your hand rock, would be nice to also have tremolo and alta pua. You're on a nice moment right now to also focus on those techniques. Okay. Any question until this point? And the last step, it's so easy. It's your own stuff. Okay, for example, at this case, John Hanrock, it's working on his bulería por arriba thing. That's great. Okay, nothing to say. That's great. It's your own stuff. Solo pieces, shows, gigs, compose, accompany singers, accompany dancers, and whatever you are doing. At this case, Johnny B, because of he's been playing guitar for 5 months, we are focusing on, we are like pasting repertoire techniques plus own stuff, because your own stuff is the Soleá beginners, which it's created by different falsetas using different techniques. Okay, but the own stuff it's easy. Also warming up. Okay, but for example, for myself, my warming up on the in the morning, it's a double arpeggio. I use thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. For Johnny B,
Use.
and you can change the thumb. For example, 6 arpeggio, 5 arpeggio, 4 arpeggio, 5 arpeggio, 6, 5, 4, 5. You maintain, you keep your arpeggio always on the same strings, and you only move the thumb on the 6, on the 5, on the 4th, on the 5th. 6, 5, 4, 5. And you can play that while you watch TV. Okay. For example, at the when I was playing that now, I was going so quick at the end. It's not warming up. It's a nick. To really be warming up, it has to be really relaxed. And it's like you have to watch. You have to see through your window, because I don't want yourself to be focusing on the. And now, for example, for Johnny B, if we add the introduction, now for me, I am on the second step. It's a nick plus repertoire, the second step of your style routine. Okay.
Okay.
So both of you are on the style routine group, I think. A second.
All right.
John and Johnny. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just send you a WhatsApp, okay, on the group. So once that you have it, you can make try to make a photo of both of your papers and send that to the group. I've just tagged yourself on the group.
Okay.
You can do now if you want, just to check them now.
I gotta get off this though.
Don't worry, I wait yourself. Take your time.
Oh no, wait.
Let me see.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Johnny.
Hey.
But you sent two different photos, Johnny. Uh,
Right.
which is okay, okay. Homework and style routine. Okay,
Right. And then on the other one is the notes. It's basically more or less the same because my warm up is my arpeggio and my lescal, and then my techniques and my homework, or my techniques is my homework, which is the five facetas.
okay,
And then the traditional F faceta is number 4. That's the name I gave it,
okay,
which is the one that you played.
okay. So, okay, homework. Okay, and let me see John Hanbrook. Okay, on warming up, John Hanbrook, you have arpeggio. Can you write down, man? Can you read to me on warming up?
Yeah, Pico and Picado scale right hand. So just something simple like just warm up. And then spider, the spider thing you did. Uh, and then for technique and repertoire, so like the Soleil Fandangos, but the G7 Sabicas Falseta, also the Soleil Pinza,
Okay,
and the both the F and the C chord Rasqueos. Again, it was the Soleil. And the Mario Arpeggio, that's the name I gave for something you taught me a while back, which was,
the 8 notes arpeggio.
yeah, eight
Great.
note arpeggio. Okay, yeah. And then the traditional F, Soleil falsetto. Again, you're working with Johnny on that too.
Okay,
So,
okay,
so I just kind of scribbled those down quickly. So,
okay, okay. Okay, so I will send you the PDF. I've just created that before this lesson. I will send you by the WhatsApp once I will finish.
Cool.
Write it down clear. and it's like it's going to be the paper. So I already have it here. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Mhm. Let me. Where it is? Ah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let me share with you the screen. So we receive this paper. Okay. So you will receive two different ones. Oh, by the way, don't grade by myself, okay? Grade by computer. So two different papers. Okay, the first one will say study routine, okay? Study routine. And you will have here picado, arpegio, picado, thumb, rasgueo, tremolo, and mazapua. And you will have like a line here to fill with exercise that you want to practice. And also you will have the same paper, okay, but also with the title here, homework. Okay, the same thing that we made today by yourself, but more clear, more to have a paper. Always much more fun to make it by like this, and that's the point. And also, what you are going to get, it's to receive the practice journal that I have of the academy, which is on the book. This one.
Ah.
Okay. Why? Because you will be able, for example, to by hand imagine that, for example, on the arpeggio you have Johnny V. Solia, wait, Solia intro. Okay, and it's going to be something that you will be using to control your speed. For example, imagine that today you reach 65. So you know for tomorrow that 65 your speed limit for today. So tomorrow you will maybe reach 68 and the next day 71. With the time you get control of what you are practicing. We have someone new, let's see, who is here today with us. Hello. I don't know her name. So there is John Hanrock Johnny V here, and there is a new person here who called iPhone, but I don't know the name. Now she turned off the camera. I know that sometimes Zoom is not giving us things so easy when we get in for the first time. We'll see. Okay, guys, they make sense, no? It's clear, more or less.
Oh, Hilda.
Hilda, hello, Hilda. Nice to meet you. So if you want to open your mic, if you want to open your camera, you are welcome. Okay. Well, by the way, we just finished. We're almost finished. Just maybe waiting for any question of the guys, and also for you, Hilda, if you want to open your mic and introduce yourself. I don't know yourself. Maybe you are on my email list, or on the WhatsApp group. I don't know, but it would be great to meet yourself. Let me know, guys. Any question?
No, I'm good. I just I'm gonna continue practicing the way we practice.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay. Also, for sure, it's
Oh,
right
I
now. Yeah, let me know.
I have a question on the fourth Soleá. We have dun 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 dun. So that one we have closing after each segment. So do I do the closing or just
Yeah,
go right?
you can, because for example, on the last part of the falsetto, you play 3 times
Right,
together, no, the F section.
right.
So you can. Maybe
Okay,
with the time we will look for more like a thumb section, but right now where you are right now, it works.
okay,
It
cool.
works. It works. Okay. Any question, John Henrock?
Uh, no, not really, Mario. Maybe if we could stay on just to talk about that week in October, just
For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. When you are thinking to come?
um, I think we had discussed before, but it's the last week in October. Um, I think I was telling you I had started this music course in Ireland, which started 2 weeks ago, and it's fairly intense. I thought it would just be part time, but it's turning in like to a 6 hour a day, 4 days a week, and like 4 hours on the fifth day.
Yeah.
So it's more Irish traditional music, but there's also a lot of basic music, like just written music scores and stuff, which I haven't learned before. So it's actually quite a good base to help me improve my musical skills.